rig. It's a long overdue breakdown of exactly what we did when we built out our rig. This was my first one that I built out. Let me open this up a little bit more. So the build time on it was about 19 days, and that includes the design. We get the frames of these ProMasters. It's just metal, 100% metal, all the way around. You can order them with some of the 1/4-inch siding. We did not do that. So as soon as you buy your truck, there's a couple things you have to do. One, you got to lay a 3/4 floor on, cover it with some sort of mat and adhesive, which we've since learned some lessons about on the adhesive. It can't be below 60 degrees when you do it, otherwise it won't stick as well. But as soon as you do that, as soon as you get the van, you gotta do a couple things first. One, you gotta get a ladder, and this is the Prime Design. We like this Prime Design ladder because it compresses on. You don't have to rivet in your door. It doesn't damage the door. It doesn't weigh on the door the same way some of the other ones do. You do have to be careful on the ProMasters versus the Fords. If you put a Prime Design ladder on and you open up the door all the way, you will kink the side of your van. There's bumpers that you can install and rivet on there, which is what we'll do. We just haven't done it yet. The next thing that you got to do is, I recommend you do, step up. We get these on Amazon. I'll include this in the link. This avoids all types of knee problems and shin breaks. Next thing we do is the rack. The racking system for plumbers is super important. It's where we put our pegs, our long pipe, our long ABS. We have a catwalk on there, and we have 3 ratchets on each side. Moving towards the front of the van, when you purchase these vans, the cabs come all the way through. So this is what they call bulkhead. Bulkheads do not come with the vans when you order them, and we order all of ours brand new. I went with the composite bulkhead that had no windows, right? I was really worried about theft. These vans, even if they get in the front, while it's all locked up, there's no way they can open the back. The composite is nice. The way it joins up to the front of the van, it has a gasket, so you really have a ton of sound reduction, and you have a ton of smell reduction as well. So this composite piece right here, the rack is about $2,000. The ladder is about $13,000. The bulkhead is about $3,000. After you do that, what we do, we tint our windows, we put on rims and tires. We think this is important. When we roll up to customers' houses, we like to look unique, and we like to look like we know what we're doing. Once you get past that, you have the floor in, you have to deal with your wrap. We go to PDX Wraps to get all of our wraps done. And you'll see all the vehicles are done identically, with the exception of the vehicle code for which vehicle it is. The next thing you have to do is you can't support anything onto this bulkhead. There's one bracket right here in the center. So what you have to do is you have to build a false wall from this floor, attach at the midline on this bracket, and then on the far side of the van there is where you need to connect it. So you have something structural to build upon. What I wanted to do, one of the things that really overwhelmed my other vans was tool overstock. So obviously we went with Milwaukee. We think Milwaukee is the brand to go to for sure, especially for plumbers. It's the platform that we stick to no matter what. Having this overstock toolbox is remarkably important for a couple things. One, it gives us a solid structure to build the rest of the van. Two, I'll just open this up. The amount of room that you get for all the plumbing specific tools. You got your big wrenches, your big plumbing tools. Over here we just have some miscellaneous drain equipment, some listening equipment to identify leaks. Miscellaneous tools again, drivers. An entire bid set. Again, these are all the little cases for you know, your titanium drill bits, your impact heads, your auto cuts, your inside cutters, really everything, hole saws, stuff like that. So this is really where we keep all of our bits. Down here is big overstock stuff. A lot of what's in here is the carpentry tools that I purchased to build this truck. This is my first carpentry project. So we have Kreg Jigs in there and stuff like that. And then you have some smaller ones here, which because we created so much space, we don't even use every single one of the drawers that we have. We have some overstock fasteners in there, strapping here, and kind of a miscellaneous junk drawer right here. The one thing about this though is you have to make sure you keep it locked. It's set this way, so every time you hit the gas, your drawers are open if you don't lock it up. Okay, so, and we're gonna go kind of in order of operations of how I built this. I'd spent a massive amount of time online trying to research band builds and the most appropriate way to do it and to try to get some ideas. And although some people post things about having their completed band done, no one teaches any of the tricks that we use for it. And so I figured if I could help explain how I did some of this stuff, it would make life a lot easier for a lot of people. So the first thing we had to do was we had to build that false wall behind here, which allowed us to connect the base of the frame, which is our toolbox. This toolbox weighs about 450 pounds. We did go to a weigh scale before I built it out, and after I built it out, we're still within range. So using 3/4 on verticals, even 3/4 on some of your horizontals, you're still okay weight-wise. This was our frame. If you look over on this side to the left of where we had this gap, this is all 3/4, and this is finishing the frame. The reason why I use 3/4 here is because this is the entire structure for the back. Back here, you have above the cab, right? So we put all of our wearable bags, our rain gear, our rain boots, things like that go back there. Change of clothes, crawl suits, stuff like that goes back there. All throughout the van, you'll see trays. We find these to be extremely helpful for just when you're loading up tools and parts to go to the job site versus bags and so forth. So when I went through and I designed the workflow for our truck, one of the things I wanted was a lot of packouts. I wanted the deep packouts, I wanted the non-stackable packouts, and I wanted the tool packouts. The milk crates were just coming out as well. So over here, we run drop cloths, a milk crate with rags, a milk crate with miscellaneous stuff, some of the blue rags, seal, things like that. Below here, we keep our contractor garbage bags. Right here is potentially my favorite tool that we own. It's the Milwaukee rapid charger. It's a 6-bay charger. It has 6 of the smaller batteries, 6 of the bigger batteries. You know, we're always chasing around power, battery power, and having one that can just charge everything rapid is really exceptional. The other thing too is if you pan over here, I can plug that in to right here, and I can get all the power I need. So below that, we have our shop vac. Next to here, this is really the only dead space that we have, and it's because I couldn't bend the 3/4. So right here, we end up putting foam pads, things like that, stuff that we don't use very frequently at all. Odd shaped things in a plumbing truck is what causes us grief all the time. So pipe, shovels, zip sticks, things like that. So this was our solution here. Go to Home Depot, get a shovel rack. You have to make sure you support it. When you're seeing back here, this is all 3/4 or all 1/4, and you want to put your 1/4-inch wood up there, because if you don't put that 1/4-inch wood and you're throwing stuff in your bins and it hits your truck, it's going to bend it from the outside, and so you're going to have a ton of little small dings on the outside. So that's why we took the time to make that 1/4-inch paneling. You can go online at DIY van layouts, I believe it is, and they have the templates for these. The templates are not perfect, but they're good enough to get you a good start rather than having you do all the other templates. and then you self-tap, you learn about the anatomy of the van, about where you can structure to, what you can secure to, and what you can't. So you'll see right here throughout the whole van as we go, and then here is where our contact points were. Anyways, put the shovel holders up here, battery mounts, these things. Keep all of our batteries organized all the time. We have a certain method, which size batteries go where, charge batteries go somewhere, ones that are dead go somewhere. But these will really help you stay organized. And it's also really quick to take a look and see what batteries are charging, what's not. The other thing that I like to do, or that I liked a lot, was our level holders. Levels are another thing. They're tall, they're awkward. And here, anything like me, you'll hate rattles. So if you put your level holders in and you don't put a foam backing behind it, you'll get a ton of rattle. And that was something that really irritated me. So that was something that we did way in the beginning, which I believe helps a lot. Okay, so next we're gonna go to the Packouts. So I purchased all the Milwaukee Packout systems before. I figured out how I was gonna organize it, and then I built the van around the system. So everything that you're seeing here are gonna be kind of smaller parts, and I have them all labeled. Some of them are labeled specifically just by the way I understand them. Some of them are like blades, fasteners, anchors, brass, copper, crimp. These are the non-stackable Packouts, which they've since discontinued. So on our next van that we build, we're actually gonna have to lower the height on this and extend it a little bit, which means we're gonna have to lose a little bit of depth right here, or a little bit of width right here. We also got a die cut sticker maker from Circuit. This, I believe, is a very small detail, but really helps make everything much nicer. Stuff that we carry in here, gloves, pencils, batteries, things like that. All your different blades, multi-tool blades, sawzall blades, knife blades, hacksaw blades. This one is where we keep our push fit stuff, which we don't use very frequently. Fasteners of every kind. You have your fender washers, your brass, your self-tappers, your regular construction screws, pinheads. Right here, anchors. So we have all sorts of different anchors, electrical, concrete screws, stainless screws, electrical tape. Pretty self-explanatory. All these shelves are angled down at 1.25 inches. So the way in which I did these is, if you guys go to kitchen cabinetry and you look on the inside, there'll be holes every 1.1 inches all the way down. And it's a jig that you can get on Amazon, which will also be in the link below this video, where I think it's like an $18 jig. You set up the jig, you have to map out exactly how you're gonna do it, and you just set the jig at you have to start each hole at the same elevation, and then you hammer every single one. What that does is you can then get the pins that you can put in for each shelf, set each shelf where you want, mock it up, say, okay, I like that, and then you can use a Kreg Jig and just send in Kreg screws. So instead of trying to get these shelves all perfect level, hold a level on it, get in there and screw it, we had those pins in there, set them down, put our hands on them, and zip them in. And so, like I said, these are all dropped at 1.25 inches towards the back, and I've never had anything come out after. The other thing we did do is the entire van is painted with non-slip deck paint. They put a little bit of sand in the paint, a little bit of grit. It holds up much better compared to regular paint. You do get some chipping, but it's pretty easy to touch up. I think that also contributes to some of these heavier ones not being able to pull out. We have a finish box, daubers, glues, little brass couplings, dishwasher boots, toilet, T-bowl kits, things like that. All your CPVC adapters, CPVC fittings, etc. Crimp for the times that we do have to come up across it. We have a crimp. Copper. We actually have 2 copper bins. This is all of our sweat copper. We have a ProPress copper as well. We make sure we stock every single one of our trucks with ProPress equipment. It is expensive and the fittings are expensive, but the time that you save, I believe, makes you more profitable. Next, brass fittings. You have your, your 90s, your couplings, your bushings, your 45s, things like that. Okay, we keep a milk crate here. This milk crate is so we can just grab power tools and throw the power tools in, grab whatever little fittings we need on our service job. We're walking into the customer's house one time, that's it. There's no miscellaneous trips back and forth, which is where you waste time and where you waste money. These are all our standard buckets for everything we do. Okay, moving forward we'll go to this side first. This side first is the tool pack outside. So about a year ago, Milwaukee released this Packout, which is what they call the deep Packout. The deep Packout is great. This is where we keep the majority of our parts. It allows you to have a lot more parts. The problem with these Packouts, I'll show you, is they come standard like this. So these deep Packouts come like this. So you only have 8 bays, 4 double bays, 4 single bays. For me, that wasn't quite right because I didn't want to use the heavy PEX toolboxes and so forth. So what I did was, if you look here, we actually cut the plastic on each of these with a multi-tool or jigsaw, and we got a piece of 1/4-inch wood, made our own divider, set it right back there on the plastic, and painted it black so that way no one knows. This is a great use for being able to increase the usability of the deep Packouts. Okay, so here, bottom one. And on the big tool Packouts that they have, the problem with them is they have handles on the side, but they don't have handles on the front. So we went to Home Depot and we build handles for them. It allows you to pull them in and out. The very bottom one, tools we use all the time. We got the Milwaukee hole hog, sawzall, multi-tool. We have our hammer drill, another drill, impacts, lights, Wurzbo tools, pumps. These are the tools that we've used frequently, all the time. We're always digging in here. I thought about trying to hang individual tool holders, but it's too space intensive. You get too much wasted space. So I thought this was better. It protects them. But again, of all of these, over here, they're 1/2-inch horizontals and 1/2-inch verticals, because everything's light there. Over here, we have tools, and this is the start of the structure for everything this way. So we went with 3/4 vertical and 3/4 horizontal. This Packout, this is power tools again. These are power tools that we don't use very frequently. It's a circular saw, it's a sander, it's a jigsaw, it's a copper cutter. It's just a bunch of different tools that we do use, nailers, stapler guns. That primarily I purchased for the build out and the carpentry side of things, but I still want them on the truck. This Packout right here is our air snake, some of our smaller snakes. This is kind of our drain cleaning one. This is where we do eventually, so we take foam. My foam cutouts are not done yet. I'll show you one of the other rigs, but we have foam cutouts, and this is where we put our ProPress machines. The ProPress boxes that they come, they're super big, they take up a lot of space. So what we do is we take these out, we put foam in, we do cutouts, and that's where we put our ProPress tools. This is a trick that I think is mine. When we're working with PEX, most of the time as plumbers we're working with 3/4 and 1/2-inch PEX. It's a pain in the ass when you're going into a job and you have to do a 1/2-inch. You're using a 1/2-inch and 3/4 to bring 2 trays. So what we did was we made a mixed PEX tray. This mixed PEX tray has extra heads in it for the Wurzbo gun. It's got the 1/2 inch and 3/4. It's got every 1/2 inch and 3/4 fitting in there. So that way when we're doing kind of those smaller jobs where we might have 3/4, we might have 1/2, we have both there. Top of here we have our testing gauges, pressure gauges, test gauges, air, water, all of it. Right here, shark bites. We only use these in emergency situations. One thing I didn't go over really quickly while I was over here is Milwaukee makes a really great first aid kit. So we always gotta have one of those on here. We did build a little ledge right here. Just used a little finish nailer so anything wouldn't fall over. And we've never had not one thing fall out of this truck. On these Packouts, you have to be careful. The walls in the van are shaped like this. So if you set a piece of 90-degree drywall or plywood on the back, you're gonna have a gap. But if you carve that and you make a template and then you set your Packouts, you're gonna have one Packout 6 inches deep, one Packout 2 inches deep, one pack. So what you have to do is we measure the depth of the Packout and we create a false wall back here. So that way the false wall makes all these Packouts sit at the same distance from the face of the Packout system. That was something that I think makes a big difference visually as well as functionality. So Kendall, if you want to come, you might want to come around this side to look at this side of the Packout. As you can see, Milwaukee's kind of our go-to with everything from tool bags to toolboxes to Packout systems to all the tools. Right here is our second major thing of Packouts. These are all the deep Packouts. And remember, I mapped out all the different Packouts that I wanted before, and then I built the van around it. So the very top one is all your 1/2 inch packs. Next one is 3/4 packs. Next one is 1 inch packs. Next one is anything bigger, so 1 1/4 inch, 1.5 inch. Generally, we don't stock a ton of that on our trucks. It's expensive. So those are the ones where we don't mind making the special trips to the supply house to get it. Below is adapters. These are all your wallets, your Wurzbo adapters, your drop ears, things of that nature. Again, this guy's is not as heavy as this one, but a little bit heavier than this one, meaning the Packout. So here we did 1/2 inch vertical, 1/2 inch horizontal. Here we did 3/4 vertical, 3/4 horizontal. These are also all kicked back down 1 1/4 inch. Here we did 3/4 vertical and 1/2 inch horizontal. We never had an issue with it. So you have your adapters. We all have all of our Pro Press fittings, all of our ball valves. We have a 2-hole strap kit, which we have every size of 2-hole from the from regular standard to Mickey Mouse straps. And then the very bottom we have PVC Schedule 80s, really all we carry. So that kind of handles most of the parts, miscellaneous parts, finished parts, tools, things of that nature, all your Wurzbo stuff, your adapters. The rest of the truck, this side is kind of your service side. This side is gonna be your ABS side. I went online to Uline and I bought these in different widths. And these different widths were how I decided to build the width of my shelves. So you'll see these small ones, this is a good example. I have clear caulk, white caulk, and silicone. I needed 3 bays of them. These are my angle stops, right? We have compression, we have iron pipe, we have some of the miscellaneous. Those were the ones I needed 3 of. A couple other supply lines we needed 3 of. But we built these based off of getting these trays first. And I like this system on the service side better than having a faceplate where you reach in to get your ABS fitting. The reason I like this is you can very easily pull them out, take a look, pull out what you need, send it back in. You have greater visibility to see exactly what you're getting. So basically through here, like I said, is all of our service stuff. Everything from shower valves to P-traps to cartridges to shower heads, rebuild kits, mounting things, toilet parts, supply lines, jet caps, things of that nature. So this is all of our service side. Up here is our long stuff. We generally put insulation or a pump. We try to keep as much lumber, not overwhelmingly amounts of lumber, but enough lumber to where that we can use it in a pinch if we're using something to build out, or we have to replace a stud, something like that. Back here is all of our liquids. This is where liquids go. We chose to put them back here was just because if something leaked, it would be a little bit easier to clean back here. This one we kind of use for temporary stuff, so if we're in a hurry, we're cleaning up, this is where we put stuff. Underneath, we wanted to leave a big spot here for big things. So right here we stock 3/4 garbage disposals, half garbage disposals. We have our big snake here, our big Wurzbo tool, our Pro Press tool, which is moving up there. But this was a really unique part of a design compared to any of the trucks that we've done or that we've seen done. And it's because I wanted the internal pipe rack. And the internal pipe rack system was something that's super important to me. I don't think in all the other plumbing trucks I've been in, most of the time it's up top and everyone's digging through parts and they have all different types of pipe up there. It takes them 10 minutes to figure it all out. So when we designed this section for parts and this section for ABS, I decided that we wanted to have internal pipe racks. And these internal pipe racks, they have a workflow about them. So we put 10 or 20 foot sticks up top, 6.5 foot sticks here, and 3.5 foot sticks here. We have it separated. This is the flexible side. So you have your Wurzbo, all your other pipes, your small pipes, your coppers, your strut, your all thread, your CPVC, things like that. Over here you have your bigger plastic pipes that are more rigid. And what this allowed us to do was stay super, super organized with what we do with our pipe. And this has probably been the best thing. We can pull a stick down 10 feet, break it down 6.5, 3.5, or use some, break it down. Anything that breaks down to less than 3.5 just goes right in the garbage. Again, some of the more bigger, arduous stuff that we deal with is on this side and under here. Under here we keep ammo cans. This one we haven't filled anything out for. It's still empty, and the reason it's so empty is because we're so highly organized, which is a good thing. This is all of our drill bits, self feeds, hole saws, pilot bits, spade bits, auger bits, all that stuff goes in there. Also in here we'll have some of our concrete machines. Made a small thing right here for long thin tools. This is our transfer pump. I wanted a place for a hose where it wasn't hung. I didn't want to hang a hose where it was always getting in the way of something. So we did that. Also here we have a place for knee pads. These are just some of the stuff that's always in the way. If you have stuff in the way, you're going to lose efficiency. And so that's really when we built this, we really kept that in mind. Over here we have ABS. I separated out the ABS. A lot of guys will have all 2-inch offsets together, all 2-inch 90s together, all 1 inch, 1.5 inch. So mine really is a little bit different. It goes 1.5 inch couplings, bushings, adapters, cleanouts, 2-inch bushings, couplings, adapters, cleanouts. Next here we have a certain different type of adapter that rocks in this one. P-traps, 1.5 inch. Same thing, 2-inch adapters, 2-inch traps. And then it goes street 22s, regular 22s. Those are 1.5 inch. 2-inch streets, 2-inch regular 22s, 45s, 90s, and then you have your multi-fitting, 1.5 inch multi-fittings. So generally we'll have Santees in this one and Ys in this one. And we do use overstock in the middle. So the same thing though, so it's replicated. So every time you know your straight 22s are going to be over on this side. Just depends on which size it is. Then we had to make them a little bit bigger to accommodate for the 3-inch, right? So the 3-inch ones, we wanted to maximize our space, but to up to 3-inch. So we stocked 3-inch. We have 3 overflow bins for 4-inch. Anytime we're doing a 4-inch shop, we go buy all the parts and we get there. We keep all of our test gear here, cast iron stuff here, mechanical couplings here, some more mechanical couplings here, all your toilet flanges and spacers right here, 3-inch multi-fittings here and here, and anything that's long and awkward, like zip sticks, long water heater supplies, extra long copper hole right bars, and what we have back here is we have all, we have 2-inch ABS that's hold there with 2 hole straps, so we have organized space to put in each one. All these shelves again are dropped at 1/4 inch, so nothing falls out. Even at 1/4 inch though, we did notice that our ABS wasn't staying in place, which is why we put these face plates on. And then up here is where we put some of our bigger lumber or longer pieces. We'll also keep faucets up here, so kitchen faucets will stock generally. Kitchen faucets, bathroom faucets, things of that nature. So we'll usually stock those up there. We also have some of these magnetic lights that did not last very long, which is why we switched to these. The Milwaukees, we have like 3 or 4 of these on each rig. The lighting systems in the ProMasters tends to time out pretty quickly, which is why I did this. So we took, if you look up here, I don't know if you can scan up here, there's a Jeep bar light, and I rewired that, ran it over here to a circuit and a 3D printed battery mount. Turn this light off. The guys over at Mechanical Hub turned me onto this one. I'll put all the parts up there as well. But there you go. So when you're working at night, you have a real bright light that lights up the entire back of your rig, and that thing has a runtime of about 40 minutes. Some of the other little tricks that we did here that we're pretty proud of, that we just kind of like. Everywhere you look, we're gonna have anchor points. We have stuff for hanging our electrical cords, brooms. We have a place for the meter keys, extra hooks just in case. Anchor point again. Anchor point. We always keep, when you're cutting down pipe, you always keep these right here just so you're not running your bag. It's always nice to have some method of cutting right here. We have some overflow batteries right here. And then this is super important. This saves our bacon all the time. Every time we pull, we have 2 parts left in a bin, we write it up here. That way we know next time we're at the supply house we have to purchase it. Bracketing. So you'll see all throughout these, we use the basically just the galvanized brackets. We use the bigger ones for structures that we were anchoring to the floor, which was another reason why I went with 3/4 versus half. We do send 1 5/8 self-tappers all the way through to the metal, but having that that extra 3/4 of structure to build your shelving system onto really helps keep it strong. And so that was another important piece for us. Just because I'm petty and I like Milwaukee, we actually took a Milwaukee tool to the paint store, and we had a paint match, so this is actually a Milwaukee red. So we paint the internal pipe racks that color. Let's see, all the other brackets that we did on the inside here are going to be a little bit more of just a 90 bracket, about that thick, and we did those in every vertical attached to the wall points where you can attach, which is about here and about here. So you're always attached to the floor at the front and the back, the middle, and the top. Those are your anchor points for everything back here. And again, with all these shelves, you take some math, and you zoom in over here, you'll see the holes. And these are the holes from the jigs. This jig might take 10-15 minutes of prep to get all your verticals, but the amount of time that you save when you can put those pegs in, take a step back, all your shelves are in, you like it, and then use a Kreg Jig for all your security. So this is how we do our rigs. I think it's important to do all your rigs the same. Or one of the other things really quickly, go over ladders that we use. We specifically went with the Gorilla ladders. We find these to be much easier to work on. You might not get as much height from some of them compared to others. But you get a good working tray right here. So you put your tools and parts right there. If you look, your platforms right here for standing on are way bigger. Usually ladders are just that first little step. And they come in all the heights. You can get 5 foot, 6 foot, 10 foot. But the biggest thing about these is they're light. They're really light, so they're not heavy when you're taking them in a customer's house. You're not banging the wall. And they stack up really nice and clean. So they're not your weight in your van. You're not moving a ladder to get to something every single time. And when you connect this back in, there you go. Like I said, we build all of our rigs identical. So I had one of the guys bring one of the other rigs over, so I'm going to show you that really quickly. One of the last things we do right here is gloves, tape, stuff that we grab all the time. And then if we're ever in a hurry, because we clean up after every single job, if we're ever in a hurry and one of the guys doesn't know where a part goes or he's not sure, these are the bins where we just throw that stuff. And then the next morning we go through this junk drawer bin, we make sure everything goes away. So our vans look like this 100% of the time. Every night they clean them, every morning they clean them. I think the efficiency that comes from that is what helps us. So this is another one of the vans. We mark our vans right here. That's the code.
Do the introduction for this one again.
What's that?
Do the introduction for this one again. The camera flipped around.
So this is our second van. I had one of our guys bring the second van that we built. Again, the first one took us 19 days of build time. But that was design, that was everything, that was learning, that was flooring. Some of the other things I need to point out is, again, we still put some of these panels everywhere. We dropped the build time on this one to 11 days. We were a bit smarter. We had an extra guy. It wasn't just one person. This is what I was telling you about the floor. We put the flooring on at a separate temperature. We have a solution for it. We've just yet to do it. So we had a little bit of bubbling. So when you lay that glue down, it has to be above 60 degrees. If you lay that glue down and it is below 60 degrees, that humidity concentration will cause bubbling. And if you look in here, you see the glue didn't even really set. It just kind of pinched down. So not a huge deal. It's not something that we're super proud of having it be like that, but it works out. Move these jackets. So if you look, everything's the same. So I can take Josh or I can take Chase and switch their trucks. My truck can break down. I can jump in this one and everything else is the same. It's identical. They have the exact same snake, the exact same internal pipe racks, the exact same hooks, exact same whiteboard. We haven't put in the light charger yet. Oh, this is something I didn't point out. A lot of guys have nipple trays, the red nipple trays. They have a 3/4 tray and a 1/2 inch tray. We found this tray on Amazon, pretty affordable, and it runs every size of 1/2 inch and every size of 3/4 in one tray. So it's a space saver. Solder stuff goes right here, bigger stuff along the side. Again, liquids, all your service stuff, everything same place. My truck, clear caulk, white caulk, silicone, supply lines, toilet lines, longer lines, tapes, toilet parts. ABS is identical. Here you have your kitchen faucets. Here you have your big Packout, so all your Wurzbo, your adapters, everything like that. Hoses, ammo cans, E-pads. So everything is identical. So if I jump in Josh's truck, I can come up here and I can grab my finish. I have the exact same shovels, the exact same levels, the exact same number of batteries. So in doing so, what we've been able to do is increase this efficiency of minimizing the amount of time you guys are going to the supply house. And we know exactly what's on our truck at what times, and we know what's wasteful and we know what's not. So it does take a little bit of extra effort to build out these vans like this, but I think it's well worth it, especially with the painting. This one, you said it was our second one. We ended up routering all the edges, which we didn't do on the first one. That'll probably be something that we're going to do than we have done on the other trucks. So besides that, guys, these are our rigs.